Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon. Even though, despite the fact it's probably the second month in a row that I'm doing a Disney-a-thon, so it's quite lengthy. And I know this seems oddly specific, but just hear me out. Of course, I've been defending Disney, and I will continue to do so even after this video. So, I do like the company. I would, defend the company and whatnot. But that in itself doesn't mean I won't share some criticism, good, healthy, constructive criticism towards the company. Because I came across an article which I thought was really stupid. Because you mean to tell me you can dismiss good quality content just because he's not gonna be in a specific way? That's dumb. But like I said, even after this video, I'm still like Disney. I'm still gonna defend Disney even after this video. Just gotta point that out. Anyway, the article in question, they would pretty much pass up great scripts just because they're not diverse enough. That doesn't make any sense. So you mean to tell me the script that's going to be made or potentially made could be the next, let's say, next Godfather 2, or maybe the next Empire Strikes Back, maybe, or even let's say, or even the next Batman trilogy, but in the modern age or whatever, or the next Citizen Kane and whatnot, or even let's say the next North by Northwest, or even Psycho. Point being is that a lot of these movies are considered to be some of the greatest films of all time. Have tested the time, and from the generations onward, even if the actors or actresses passed away, they're still looked upon as great films. But no, no, let's just throw the scripts in the trash. Yep, let's just throw in the trash just because of the fact that it's not enough diversity whatsoever.
That's what I said. Oh, that's stupid! Really stupid.
And of course, to be perfectly clear, folks, I got nothing against Starversity, of course. If you have a diverse cast of characters, I'm not saying not to, okay? I'm not saying not to do it. However, point being, like I said earlier, you can just ignore the quality of said script just because there's not enough diverse characters. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I've seen a lot of these old, obscure kung fu features that are often low budget, and I still plan to talk about more of these films eventually, I guess. But point being, the vast majority of these films are basically filled with an Asian cast, an old Asian cast. Whether it's Chinese, Japanese, or Korean, or anything else you can imagine from Asia. And nobody bats an eye. I'm not saying that having an old Asian cast is a bad thing in itself, which is not, but it's just the the reaction is different, is what I'm saying. Yeah, no one bats an eye whatsoever. Like, no one seems to be bothered about it whatsoever. Okay, however, let's say suddenly a lot of the social justice warriors would scream out racism just because it's on a white cast, an all Caucasian to be more exact. And yeah, suddenly it's racist. Suddenly it's a bad thing. I mean, what are you talking? That seems really ridiculous if you ask me. You can't call out racism out like that while being racist yourself. It's what I call being a massive hypocrite, is what I'm saying. I'm fine with diversity. Look at Dragon Age. Dragon Age Inquisition, to be more exact, that had diversity. And every character is from a different class. Every character has a different set of skills and whatnot. Every character has something to amount to the story. And that felt natural. And crying out, Sarah's a lesbian. But like I said, all these diverse characters have something to amount to the overall story. It does not feel forced. It feels genuine. And something like that is perfectly fine. I guess you can say another example is Harley Quinn, I guess you can say. It's been confirmed that she's bisexual. And she might be a crazy person in some ways, sure. But in her aspect of the story, especially in the second game, actually amounts to something of importance to the game. Yes, she's bisexual. Yes, she's a woman, sure. But again, it felt natural. It felt like it is in place with the grand scheme of the story. And it felt like they were actually trying to do something creative and have a well-written arc for the character. Yeah, something like this, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with having a well-constructed story and whatnot. If it amounts to something, if it's just thrown in there for its own sake, do it just to do it. And there has to be more of these characters than their ethnic backgrounds. There has to be more of these characters than their sexual orientation. There has to be more of these characters than their gender that they identify with, yada yada yada. That kind of thing. These things can't be. These things are not a character trait. Is what I'm saying. Being bi is not a character trait. Being a woman is not a character trait, or whatever else. These kind or your ethnic background again is not a character trait. There has to be more to these characters than said things. Is what I'm getting at. You can't just throw it in there for its own sake, and you can't just bend at the knees just because some group feel like they're social justice warriors or the feminazis or complain. You can't just bend at the knees and obey their orders because you think it's okay to push you around. And then I guess Chloe, I guess you could say, she's yeah, it's women, sure, but the overall story for that game, especially the prequel, feels genuine. It feels like it's an actual developing story. Yes, they're both women. Yes, they're into the LGBT thing, sure, and they're both young. So yes, there's some learning to do. You're gonna make mistakes, of course, like any young person. Even if I'm not saying they're stupid, but even if you're smart, you're bound to make some mistakes. And even that feels genuine as well because it never felt like a contrivance, a contrived story point, I guess you can say. It felt like a natural, of course. And the dialogue, even if some of the dialogue is a bit cringy, if I'm be honest with you. And yeah, but the plot, even though I do think there's some plot holes in this game series, sure, maybe like a few of them. I mean, like they could have easily, especially with Max and whatnot, having told time travel thing, could have easily prevented Rachel's death. So why did that happen? I don't know. But yeah, but of course, there's a few things that'll work out, sure, when it comes to the story, sure. But point being, it's still a well constructed story, nonetheless. It still feels like they're actual people. I mean, yeah, they know they're not real, but they feel real, and they feel like they actually could exist within our real life. Is what I'm saying. Having well adjusted characters in a diverse setting isn't the problem. What I'm saying is that having it do it just for its own sake is a bad thing. Don't be pushed around just to shut some people up. As I'm getting, just don't do that at all. And it just seems like that's what they're doing. That's what a lot of people in the whole working in Disney seems to be doing, just being pushed around by people. Yes, yes. Before anyone tells me, I realize this is it's a business. You have to make money, sure. That's fine. Make some money. I'm not against that. You look at these games. I'm using an example how you can have a diverse cast of characters and make it feel like it comes off natural. Everybody treats each other with respect. Even if there's a conflict, you'll find a way to solve it, of course, and which does happen in these three games I just mentioned. Yes, there's a conflict in these three games I just mentioned, and everybody has to solve it in one way or another. So maybe physical violence, or maybe some people might use diplomacy or what have you. There's various ways you can solve the problem. Maybe depending on the conflict, I guess you can solve it in a number of ways. I guess it depends how it's done, I suppose. But of course, some things were said from the said article, yeah, because apparently this was a need that needed to be done, and it has to be done. The lack of reputation of some groups and whatnot. Again, I'm not saying to not do that. It just depends how it's done. Is what I'm getting at, folks. So don't try to be thinking I'm saying not to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care if they're all one race or multiple races or whatever else. If they're all one sexual orientation or whatever. At the end of the day, all I really care about if the story is good. For me, that's all that really matters. Really, is a good story. Even if you have a vast number of characters from different backgrounds or whatever. Even then, even if you have diversity, even then, I still want a good story. At the end of the day, that's what really matters to me, a good story and whatnot. I'm not saying you can't have these characters, but even if you have these types of characters, even then, Story matters, dialogue matters, a plot matters, and of course characters matters. What I'm saying is that in life, what you go through, well, that your personal experience, big, small, or whatever, your personal experience, that in itself is a story. Stories defies the human experience, is what I'm getting at. Regardless of the sexual orientation and everything else, you still can make it seem universal for everyone. You still can do that. Another example, I guess, of what I'm talking about is the reboot of Cinderella, which was remade twice. But I'm gonna just use the more recent version because that came out a few years ago. But yeah, I took an issue with that one because each video kind of hammers in that the ish. Oh look, she's a strong woman. 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 And she's a strong woman. She's a strong woman. That's literally all in this version of Cinderella. That's all she is. You see her riding horses and whatnot and doing all these kinds of things, taking trips to the store. What the actual hell? If she could just get out of the place that easily, why does he just leave and never return? That's a plot hole right there. And in the original film, she was basically is like a housemaid or whatever, and she was forced to stay in there until she found a way to get out, of course, obviously. And just what the and then the whole fairy thing, it really doesn't make any sense either. There's plot holes in that as well. And which I discussed before in my review for that Cinderella movie. And there's a bunch of plot holes, and that one felt, and that one. But basically, like I said, it doesn't feel genuine. Is what I'm saying. It doesn't feel genuine whatsoever. It felt forced. Disney was accused before of being sexist, which of course is just a bunch of lies. Disney isn't sexist whatsoever. If you actually do your research, you would realize that Disney had hired women before, even the earliest days when they were making Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, pretty much up to at that point and upward. But of course, Disney caved in and just trying to fix a problem that doesn't even exist. I mean, they're all accused of being racist too, but that's also another non-existent problem. And so I know some people are going to be telling me, oh, this employee, that employee said this and that at their company. Obviously, there's going to be some disgruntled employees. Eventually, that's going to happen. I mean, yes, even if there's a racist employee, even if there's a sexist employee, even if there's a bigoted of some kind employee working at their place, that in itself does not prove that the company is bigoted. Look at Target. Look at Best Buy. Or any other company you can think of. Those companies are humongous. I'm pretty sure there's some bigoted employees that work there. Does that mean the entire companies are racist or homophobic or whatever else, or phobic? Of course not. Just because some employees are, doesn't mean the company as a whole is. So I don't. I feel like how is it that they will are willing to give the other companies a chance, but not this? It seems like they're picking at it. Trying to trying to weave this notion that they're in the right. They keep trying to beat you over the head with it and make it as if they're right. At the end of the day, they just want the attention. They may have like a lot of friends on Facebook or maybe on Instagram, a lot of friends there, or maybe on Tumblr or whatever. If anything, it's about like a lot of intention. They believe that just because people are being sheep, they automatically believe that they're in the right. Just because you believe you're in the right, does not mean in itself that you're right. That's not evidence enough that you're right. So so like I said before, I'm still going to defend Disney. So in some ways, I'm still defending Disney in this video, even though I am obviously criticizing it and the company as a whole. Because I just feel like they're just trying to do this kind of thing just to shut people up, and just it's ridiculous, of course. And but the individual this article spoke about this channel person that she said that I would tell you for the first time that we received a couple of road scripts that we did not satisfy their standards in terms of inclusion or whatever. I had to pass them. Yeah, there was an admission that they would do that, which of course I think is ridiculous. Like I was saying, folks, like way early in the, like way early in the video, that There's gonna be some potential masterpieces that just gone to the wayside just because of this. Oh, people saying this and that, making false claims. I know, I know a lot of religious people had made false claims about Disney. It just came off. You gonna listen to them too? Come on, give me a break. Just no. Just something I just felt like it was wrong to this kind of thing. And yes, this individual talking about this woman admitted that this kind of thing, well, of course, does happen in companies like ABC, that one program, or in so we have a diverse cast of characters and whatnot. But I'm not saying to not include them, of course. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I know some people just going to think that I'm automatic. I'm trying to have say some underlying message here. I'm being upfront about this entire time. There's nothing secret. There's nothing hidden. I'm trying to say here. I'm being really upfront here, of course. And I think that's one of the reasons as to why they keep remaking all these princess movies because they were criticized for being sexist, which of course is totally wrong. The same reason as why to the reboot of Aladdin have an issue with it for the same kind of reason. Trying to make Princess Jasmine like some sort of famous icon or whatever, even though she was already pretty feisty in the original, which is fine. I don't mind her like that in the original animated movie. But in the reboot, they were really trying to emphasize that and even more. Because again, they were being accused of being sexist, and we're trying to beat you over the head with it. I went, oh, I don't like living here. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing that. I'm like, come on, you're living in luxury and whatnot. How is that gonna be bored? You're trying to find some sort of entertainment somehow. I don't know, but yeah, just want to really emphasize on how strong woman, strong woman, strong woman, strong woman, strong woman, strong woman. Come on, but yeah, folks, it just seems to really emphasize on that. I don't mind strong female characters, of course. You can be feisty, obviously. If they want to be strong and independent, that's fine. But it just come out in the reboot of Atlanta. It just comes off like they're really trying to beat your head with it, like she's disappointed with her life and whatnot. And that seems like a contrived way to bring the character of Aladdin in it. Just get it. He's from a lower class and she's from an upper class, and that's diversity too. Even though that kind of storytelling has been done like multiple times already, so it's not exactly anything original really. But and whatnot. Just again, it just depends how it's done, of course. So yeah, another movie I want to bring up like super quick since this video is already lengthy as it is, folks. It's pretty long as it is. So I guess just to wrap things up, I do want to bring up another movie to basically drive the point home if it's not clear enough. I should say. Just another movie I want to bring up is that Beauty and the Beast, which yes is awful. Yes, I'll admit I went out to see it or whatnot. Maybe I shouldn't have. Boy, it was a hot mess. It was definitely a hot mess. One of the main problem is again it's trying to hammer in that she's a strong woman. 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 And she's a strong. Using that like what I would call plot armor and whatnot. Even if she's in a dangerous situation, but it's all gonna be a okay because she's a strong woman. And that's literally it. They're trying to compared to the original one and compared to the remake is trying to have more of a backstory to the Beast and basically everyone else. It kind of reminds me of Spider-Man 3 in the sense of that, like maybe there's too much backstory, too much going on at once, too much explaining and whatnot. Trying to have an explanation literally for everything. Why is there an enchanted castle? Trying to explain why the dishes move and talk. Why does the chair talk? Why does the floor talk? Why does this and that have magic but not this and that? There's too much of an explanation. There's too much going on at once. Don't have an explanation. Trying to push away the fact that Disney was criticized as being not really homophobic, but bigoted in the sense that for being racist, for being sexist, and that kind of a thing. I mean, yes, things do change over the years, sure, but that in itself doesn't mean that Disney was bigoted in some sort of fashion. I guess you would say. But people from Africa were actually hired at the studio too as well. You could do a quick search right now. Pause the video, look it up. You can do that yourself. But of course, doing some research is not the key for a lot of these people or whatever. Just I don't know. Again, I like Disney. Don't get me wrong. I really do enjoy Disney films. Just sometimes I just want to slap them across the head. But anyway, like, so yeah, that's basically the bottom line I'm trying to get here. I don't like what this is in this show, man. I'm not saying diversity is bad. I repeat that. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. Again, it's not bad. But the way she's handling some decisions when it comes to the creative field of film is forced diversity. Forced diversity, yes, can be really awful. It can backfire. It's like that's the only thing you focus on rather than just quality and storytelling. Yeah, that's no. And so if anything it's her I'm talking about, really, and partially Disney, I guess to some extent, I guess you can say. But I know it's supposed to be about freedom of expression and whatnot, which I'm fine with various stories. But a lot of people out there may just wonder about things like, oh, let's have a princess from this country, maybe, or even from maybe this country, perhaps, or even maybe from this country, or maybe let's say what else? Oh yeah, maybe from here, maybe, or even maybe also from here, this country as well, or maybe from this place, perhaps, or even maybe um here, perhaps, or let's say make a princess character from this place, or make a princess character from here, or maybe even a prince character from here as well. Or even, let me see here. Or maybe a prince character from here, perhaps. Yeah. Or even a prince character from here. Let me see one more. Okay, maybe a prince character from here. Yeah, the bottom line is they might look, hey, have the character be this, have the character be that, have the character be this, have the character be that. Rather than just judging the movie from its own merits, really. Yeah, just rather not judge the film on its own merits. Well, come on, man, give me a break, really. But yeah, so again, I want to bring up Frozen for like a bunch of times or whatever because there's been a bunch of stories with these characters already. So some of them are actually pretty good. I like Frozen quite a bit. I like these. But yeah, just something I want to bring up real quick. And a quick side thing here is that the LGBT community, this does not equal to communism. A lot of people believe it's the same thing to communism, which is not. Even though some of the members of that community may be communists or socialists, but you can't say that for the entire group. Just so you know. But anyway, back to Frozen. Yes, Frozen 2 specifically actually introduced in these indigenous people from a different place and whatnot, which is fine. But it felt natural. It felt like it was not forced upon. It was not felt like you're going to say a bad thing. So this entire bit was just introduce these whole different group of people. They were acting like friends anyway and whatnot. And Elsa and Anna treat like they were ever like any other person. But of course, you're gonna have some people getting angry about this film anyway, and that come on, that actually came off natural, and you complain about it. Give me a break. So yeah, folks, it's just weird to me. Just wanna okay, I guess another thing to bring up before I just get to the point, get to the end of this. I guess the end of my point. I guess. So it makes me remember when it comes to Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon, when this anime had appeared originally, it was really heavily censored in the United States just because of lesbianism. Are you kidding me? What happened to the whole diversity bit? Where'd that go? So yeah, it's just weird how some things were edited out, but other things were left in and whatnot. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, really, if you ask me. And all right, I'm about to be done here, folks. I'm about to be done because this video's been quite lengthy. Or even speaking of foreign stuff, the original Gojira, was heavily edited for having like some sort of political stuff, anti-war thing. And a lot of people in this country are aware of this, keep censoring stuff and whatnot, but then complain about other things, which I don't get. There's not enough reputation of some groups or whatever, and complain about censorship. Why a lot of American companies censor stuff? Why don't you do something against that? I don't know, it's just whatever, I guess. This entire thing makes no sense whatsoever. Alright, folks. Alright, whatever, I guess. And yes, even there was some controversy around Toy Story 2 because allegedly it's racist. Which it isn't, but okay. So this woman here made a whole bit where he has to have diversity. Therefore, he has to make he has to make a good movie only if it has diversity. That's a lie. And she's making it up to the point where if you disagree with her, you're the ignorant one, which again is a lie. Disagreeing with somebody doesn't necessarily mean you're ignorant. I mean, it could mean that depending on what it is, sure. But that's a broad statement. There should be more than a character than your gender and your skin tone. Come on. Anyway, whatever. Just seems weird. Anyway, folks. Later, I guess. See ya. Talk to you later, folks. Bye. Ugh.